the tight end room, there's really not much for needs here. I think the biggest thing here is there's some fans out there that kind of let down by the contract that Dawson Knox got, and is he performing to that contract level? Yada. The basic easy math here is there's really no good way to move on from Dawson Knox, and I think it's one of the situations where both things can be true, that yes, he didn't really perform up to what he got for his contract, but also there's not really a need to move on from him. I think he does provide a lot at the position with his blocking. He still has some receiving ability. He has that potential to, and we saw it several times last year, where he just gets lost by the defense and snags a 30-yard ball. And to me, could you want more out of him for the price tag? That's absolutely fair. I think it's also important context of this team philosophy of everybody eats. That's still going to have its tiered distributions, right? There's still going to be a pecking order. And when you look at it as like Dawson Knox can be your 6th, 7th option that you're looking at in the passing game, that I'm good with that. Again, could it be cheaper? Sure. This is one of the contracts where they bet on the continued development, and it plateaued. And it is what it is. It's not the greatest contract. It's not the worst. And it's a guy that at that dollar sign is still going to be contributing to your team. You're still going to get return on investment. It's just not the sexiest look for a position that is involved with the passing game. I think the things that he does provide to the team outside of catching the ball is very valuable and will continue to be. Dalton Kincaid, obviously a bit of a disappointing season here compared to the trajectory that we saw coming out of his rookie year. He had a fantastic rookie year, and it was very exciting to see what he would do in year 2. Then the removal of Diggs from the equation and the investment made in Dalton Kincaid, the rookie year that we saw from him, and it really felt like he was set up to just really pop off in year 2. And I think there's a few factors that go into this. Number 1 being injuries, and number 2 being just chemistry with Josh Allen. And they're tune into Locked On Bills. Joe Marino gets free plugs for me all the time. He does a really good job of breaking down the exact numbers and everything. Josh Allen and Dalton Kincaid just weren't quite on the same page, and there were a lot of throws where Kincaid is open or open enough, and just the throw's a little bit off. And the one that really comes to mind is the one where he ends up injuring his knee, laying out for a ball from Josh Allen that he had 3 yards of separation. He was going to walk in for a touchdown, and Josh Allen just puts it a yard or two too far, and Kincaid lays out for it and ends up hurting his knee. This is a spot where I'm still super psyched for what the ceiling is. Like, we saw what he looked like in his rookie season. He didn't forget how to football. Give him another offseason with Josh Allen. Let him heal up from them bumps and bruises. We've heard McDermott and Bean talk about wanting him to put on some more functional weight, hopefully lead to some more durability, consistency, and I think the sky's still the limit for Dalton Kincaid. And I think we just saw this success of everybody eats mindset, philosophy, and I don't think that's going anywhere. That's going to keep the tight ends involved. I think this is going to be, we talk about these year 3 jumps that we've seen from a bunch of players on the Bills, and it's usually more of a step-by-step progression. For Kincaid, I think it's going to be, he started out a little bit higher and dipped down in his second year, and year 3, I think he's really going to take off. Rounding out the room, tight end 3, Quintin Morris, and not really much to say on Quintin Morris here other than he's my ideal perfect tight end 3. He's capable enough at blocking, capable enough as a receiver. He comes open and snags a touchdown seemingly at least once a year. And doing that in very limited snaps is pretty dope. He contributes on all areas of special teams and just an all-around, low-cost, valuable tight end 3. And it's not sexy. It's not something we're going to talk about a ton, but he gets the job done. And do want to sprinkle into this conversation Zach Davidson, kind of a camp darling last season, and I see it going into this next season with a similar competition there, and it ending up being Davidson and Morris for duking it out for that position. In my opinion, I think Davidson has shown some flashes more in the receiving department, but for all of the things that Quintin Morris does, his continuity with the team, his special teams contributions, I think it's just a huge uphill battle to fight for Davidson. And it'll happen again this year because we'll see Davidson in preseason. He's going to make some plays and the hype train will get rolling for him again. I don't see a world where he is able to unseat Q Morris and he's been that dude for the Bills for several years now. So I think that's a bigger uphill battle to climb than a lot of people will give it credit for once we get to preseason and Davidson's making some noise again.